All right, today we're diving into a workflow for Claude that's going to take you from just an occasional user to a genuine power user. It's a really simple shift, but trust me, it will fundamentally change how you interact with the tool. You know, if you've used Claude for any amount of time, this probably feels familiar. That feeling of explaining the same things over and over and over again, who you are, what you do, the tone you need, that feeling, it's a huge sign that we need to build a better infrastructure for our work. And this isn't just, a minor annoyance. It's a signal that your whole workflow is kind of broken. Every single minute you spend re-explaining context is a minute you're not actually getting work done. So let's fix it. Okay, so here's the core of the problem. A regular chat is what we call stateless, which is just a fancy way of saying it has no memory. It starts from scratch every single time. But a project chat? That's completely different. It's designed for recurring work, starting with your full context preloaded and just ready to go. No more re-explaining. The solution then is to stop using those regular one-off conversations for your ongoing work and to start using projects. I want you to think of a project as your own dedicated, intelligent workspace for a specific part of your job or even your life. So what is a project exactly? Well, think of it as the infrastructure that remembers who you are, so you don't have to. It's this persistent workspace that holds all your crucial background info. So when you start a new chat, Claude already knows what's up. The rule of thumb here is actually incredibly simple. Just ask yourself this: am I going to use Claude for the same purpose again in the next week? If the answer is yes, boom, you need a project. If it's just a one-off question, yeah, a regular chat is totally fine. And this applies to so many different roles, right? Whether you're a real estate agent who needs consistent marketing support, a small business owner handling client emails, or even a student trying to organize coursework for a whole semester, you have a recurring context. A project just gets rid of all that repetitive setup, so you can jump straight into the real work. Now, this is the most crucial point. A project is only as good as the instructions you give it. This is where you create the real magic. Vague instructions are going to give you vague, generic results every single time. Just look at this example. It perfectly illustrates the difference. I'm a real estate agent. Okay, that's a start. But the specific instruction, it details the client profile, their background, their specific needs. That level of detail is what transforms Claude from a generic assistant into a truly tailored collaborator who actually understands your audience. So your project can hold two main types of context. First, your instructions. This is where you define your role, your audience, your preferred tone, all those standing rules. And second, you can upload documents. Things like a course syllabus, a business plan, style guides, making them a permanent part of Claude's knowledge base just for that specific project. Okay, so we've got our persistent workspace with projects. Now let's add another layer of power on top of that: skills. This is how we turn Claude from just a knowledgeable generalist into a true specialist for a specific task. Skills are basically pre-configured expert-level instruction templates. You've got skills for marketing tasks like writing social media captions, and for business needs like summarizing meetings or drafting really professional proposals. And you can use these skills in two main ways. For a quick one-off task, you can just paste the instructions into a regular chat. But for recurring work, and this is the power move, you integrate the skill directly into a project. This embeds that expertise, making it the default way of working for that entire workspace. Now, let's bring it all together. This is the ultimate power workflow. This is where we combine the who you are from projects with the how to do it from skills. This right here is the key equation. Your project provides all the deep context about your business, your needs, your audience. The skill provides the expert methodology for the task at hand. And when you put them together, you get a version of Claude that feels less like a tool you're just prompting and more like a real collaborator who's ready to jump in and work. So that's enough theory. Let's talk about putting this into practice. The goal here is to get you to build your first intelligent workspace right away. So think about your own recurring work. If you're a marketer, build a project for social media and plug in the caption writer skill. A business owner, create a client communications project and add the email responder skill. A student could use the meeting summarizer for all their class notes. The key is to just start with one. And remember, your first draft does not have to be perfect. In fact, it won't be. The best projects are dynamic. They evolve and they get better over time based on how you actually use them. So after you use your project for a bit, ask these simple questions. Did Claude miss some piece of context? Is there a correction you find yourself making over and over?
If the answer is yes, go back and add that detail directly into your project instructions. Every single correction you bake into those instructions is a correction you never have to make again. That is compounding efficiency.
So, what we've really been building here is way more than just a workflow. It's a fundamental mindset shift in how you approach working with AI. This slide really summarizes the whole journey. You move from this stateless tool that needs constant re-explanation to a persistent, professional environment. Your output shifts from generic to specialized, and your usage goes from, occasionally helpful to consistently high leverage. The tool itself doesn't change. It's the infrastructure you build around it that makes all the difference. So, the only question left is, what are you going to build? Think about the repetition in your own work. Pick one area and build your first intelligent workspace today. That is the first step to unlocking a truly transformative way of working.